Good morning, Murfreesboro. So glad to be here. My name is Chris Penrose, and I proudly teach at Black Fox Elementary, 6th grade.
And my name is Kim Nelson, and I too teach at Black Fox in 5th grade. So, good morning, Chris. Mr. Penrose.
Yes, ma'am.
You are not going to believe this, but guess what happens 1 week from today?
1 week from today. It's Friday.
I know, Friday. 1 week.
I don't know. What happens 1 week from today?
Summer vacation officially begins.
Yes, summer vacation.
And you know what that means.
Oh, yeah.
Lots of fun in the sun.
You know it. I love being outside in the summertime.
Too. I am so excited for summer vacation.
Me too.
I've been looking at the forecast, and it's going to be so sunny in the next week or so.
That's awesome.
So anyways, Mr. Penrose, my family, we come up with a summer bucket list.
Okay.
And so this is our 2020 summer bucket list, and each of the 5 family members have 5 little clothespins on here and something that maybe we want to do this summer.
Okay.
Now the summer might be a little different than most summers, so we had to get a little creative on some different things. But you know, like my children, one of them wants to work on his garden, build a garden, work on it. My daughter wants to go shopping at the mall, sleepovers. One of my things on here is I want to make s'mores.
I love s'mores.
I love s'mores too.
They're so good.
They are, and I know typically you go camping, right?
Right.
And you make your s'mores. Well, I'm not into camping too much. I've got 2 Boy Scouts at home, and they are, but not me.
Okay.
But I have come up with a way to make s'mores, okay, without going camping.
Without going camping.
Without going camping.
All right.
So we're going to make some s'mores today. Are you excited?
I am very excited.
Okay, good. Okay, I'll take these off too for right now.
Get your face on now.
Okay, so with the solar energy, we're going to use solar energy. Typically with s'mores, you would have a fire, right?
Right.
Well,
you have a campfire or something like that.
That's right. We're not going to do that.
Okay.
We're going to use the sun's energy.
Okay, so you're talking about heat then.
I am talking about heat.
Okay, so
that's right. Lots of heat.
So what really is heat then?
Heat's a form of energy.
Okay.
And it does travel.
All right. So if we're using the sun's heat, and the sun is, what, 93 million miles away, how are we going to use that? I'm just not going to stick a marshmallow out there and the sun's heat. What am I going to do?
No. Well, there's a couple different things that we are going to do. So we want to trap some of that heat.
Okay.
Okay. So with our ovens, kind of like the ovens at home,
okay,
you know, the heat's inside it. You have the oven door that closes it to try to trap that heat inside it. Well, our solar ovens that we're going to create today are going to trap that heat.
Okay.
So it's going to reflect some of the sunlight.
Okay.
Into the solar oven box.
All right, so now we're talking about radiation, right?
That's right.
Okay, so before we go any further, if you'll let me, I want to show you a little dance that I do when it comes to heat, when I teach my kids heat, because I know heat travels in a couple ways. We talked about radiation, the sun's heat, right?
That's right.
There's 3 ways. One of them is conduction, right? That's when something is physically touching and transferring heat, right? And if you want to remember this at home, here's one way you can do it. Conduction is, think about a warm embrace, okay? Conduction is when something physically touches, right? And transfers heat that way. I have a fish tank at home, and I know that heat travels through the water, but it doesn't physically touch necessarily, but it moves through liquid. Heat can move through liquids and gases through something called convection. And if you want to remember that, think about this. It's a old school kind of dance.
Oh,
you do convection, right? So when we have conduction, means you're going to be touching, right? Convection is the movement of air or heat through air or liquid, right?
Oh, I can't wait for the next one.
The next one, which we're talking about the sun.
That's
it's far away. It's radiation. Now, people think radiation is kind of a bad thing, but it's not. Radiation is actually a good thing. Radiation can be remembered like this. It is the electromagnetic waves traveling through space, and it warms an object. So there's no physical touching, there's no moving of air or water, but it's the electromagnetic waves flowing through. So we got conduction, convection, and then radiation. Okay, so
I bet your kids love doing that every year.
They do. I love doing it. It's fun.
And they probably remember that.
Yeah.
Should we do it one more time?
We can do it
one more
time.
So the boys and girls at home will remember those 3 forms of heat.
Conduction, convection, and then radiation. Okay, so that's what I know about heat.
Okay.
So I'm assuming we're going to use probably a little bit of all of that.
We are.
Okay, so shall we dive in? Because I'm kind of hungry. I didn't have breakfast this morning, so I'm kind of hungry.
Okay, let me grab my box. So, Mr. Penrose,
Yes, ma'am.
this is something that I love to do every year towards the end of the year with my students.
Yes, ma'am.
Been doing this for many years, so I was a little upset.
Actually, did you bring a picture of your kids doing the solar
I did.
You can see that real quick. That'd be kind of neat. I
Yes.
think there's a picture of your kid.
So I've been doing this with my students at school for many, many years. The pictures that are up right now are ones from last year. I did
Awesome.
not get to make it this year because of,
what's going on.
everything that's happened, but I am hopeful that some of my students will see this and maybe try it at home.
We're waiting to see pictures,
That's
boys
right.
and girls.
I can't wait. So I am excited to be able to at least share it with my
Yes,
boys
ma'am.
and girls
Okay.
and other boys and girls.
Awesome.
Okay, so we typically use a pizza box.
Okay.
Now, after all, we love pizza, right?
Absolutely. We have it twice a week in my house.
Exactly. We had it last Friday. Typically ours is on Friday. So we usually use a pizza box
Okay.
to do it. Now,
All right.
we don't have to use a pizza box, but that's what we use. Later on, I'll show you some other things that we
Okay.
can use.
Sounds good.
Okay? Okay, so we need our pizza box.
Okay.
We definitely need some type of tape.
Okay.
Scissors. I have a box cutter. We need a ruler.
Okay.
Okay. Black paper.
All right. Black
Need
paper.
some black paper.
Now, why is black paper so important with this project?
Well, black absorbs that sun's energy
Okay.
and that heat.
So if I go to Old Navy, that's why I don't see so many black shorts and black shirts in the summertime, because they don't want their customers to get too hot, right?
That's
why
right.
we always have those fun pastel pink colors, right, in the summertime. Okay.
That's
All right.
right.
So wanna
You
check.
know, kind of like, when you go outside on a really hot day
Yes.
and you're walking on the street, the
Yes.
asphalt, how hot that
Oh.
is if you're barefoot.
Very, very hot.
It does absorb that. Okay, so we need foil
Okay.
as well. I have sheet protectors.
Okay.
Now, we don't have to have the sheet protector. There's some other different things that we could use. We could use plastic wrap
Okay.
for our window. We could also use a big Ziploc bag
Okay.
as well. So, but today for ours, we're going to use the sheet protector.
Okay. Sounds
Okay?
good. Okay. Well, let's.
And then let's see, what else do we need?
Do you have to have a thermometer? I see you have two thermometers
right.
on the table here. Do you have to
I do.
have one?
You do
Or is that
not.
more for the science?
It is more for the
Okay.
science.
Okay.
When we are doing this in school, the kids love to see, what do we start at
Sure.
in our ovens?
Absolutely.
And what do our ovens get up to? There
Right.
have been some years our ovens have gotten up to like 150, 60 degrees.
That's crazy.
I know,
It's not
I know.
150 degrees outside, though.
No.
That's wild.
I know. So I do like to put these in here. but
Okay.
They do not need that.
Okay.
They will definitely know that that oven has gotten hot.
Now, you already have scissors and a box cutter. Would you recommend an adult maybe doing some of the cutting here?
Definitely.
Okay. Just want to make sure, because I have made the mistake before of not paying enough attention using sharp objects, and that's a whole nother story.
That's
Stitches
right.
were involved. But just be very, very careful, everyone.
You're right.
Okay, let's
And
just,
typically when we're doing it in the classroom, the kids will make the outline, which I'm going to do right now, and then I come out
Perfect.
and do that.
Perfect. That's
So
smart.
good question,
Okay. Yes,
Mr.
ma'am.
Penrose. Thank you.
Okay.
Okay.
So while you get started, I'm going to kind of tell everyone how this really works.
Okay.
Okay. Everyone at home, so how it really works is after the sun's rays, they're going to enter our solar oven, and I think we actually have an image of that we can show you in a moment. When it enters the solar oven, what's going to happen is that black material, like Ms. Nelson said, is going to really absorb a lot of that heat, because we're going to use black materials and we're going to use reflective materials, okay? So the aluminum foil is going to help bounce all that light and heat around, which is really, really awesome. Much like your oven is made of metal, it's going to bounce some of that heat around. The window we're going to make here in a moment actually is going to allow the sun's radiation, the sun's light to go into the oven, but also it's going to trap that heat inside so it doesn't escape back out, much like the way our planet works, the greenhouse effect, right?
Hey, Mr.
Sun's-
Penrose,
yes,
can I
ma'am.
stop you for a quick second?
Yes.
So just so the boys and girls at home kind of know what I'm doing right now. So I am measuring 2 inches from each of the edges.
Okay.
So I'm going to make, I've already done 2 of the sides. So I'm
Okay.
going to make a little mark about 2 inches from the edge.
Okay.
Make about 3 of them and then kind of connect those 3.
So with these marks you're making, it looks from here, it looks like you're almost making like a perfect square inside of this box, okay?
That's
this
right.
Is gonna be eventually it's gonna be our lid/window, right? Excellent, very, very good.
So I'm going to finish that up. So that'd be
Okay. So to recap what she said, everybody, while she's finishing this up, she used a ruler to measure about 2 inches from the edge of the top of the pizza box. She's then going to use her ruler as a straight edge, make a straight line, so it's going to be 4 sides, okay? And then we are going to very, very carefully, this is where the adult's really going to be important right now, we are going to cut 3 of the 4 sides.
That's right.
Okay.
So if you lift the box, we do not want to cut this side over here.
Right, that's going to be kind of like a hinge,
That's the
right? Okay,
yes,
very
the
good.
flap. So don't cut that one. So I'm going to cut the sides. And like you said, this is definitely an adult
Yes.
task here. Woo.
Very good. And this is why we need an adult boys and girls, because even though you think it's just a pizza box, it actually is pretty thick. Even if you use something like a shoe box or a cereal box, please take the proper precautions. Have an adult use a good pair of scissors or some type of straight edge. Okay, some
All
type
right.
of knife.
So now with that last edge up here that I did not cut,
Okay.
that's where I want to fold it.
Yes,
Okay.
ma'am.
So I'm still using that line that I
Perfect.
created. I'm going to fold it back there.
That really looks just like maybe a hood of a car or something. That's pretty awesome.
That's right.
Pretty simple.
Okay, so we've got that done.
Okay, so what will be our next step
Okay.
in this case?
So the next thing that we want to do is we want to take the foil,
Yes, ma'am.
okay, and we want to line it on the inside of our box.
So if I have a smaller pizza box or maybe a large box, I can just kind of eyeball. I don't have to like be exact, do I?
No, I didn't use my ruler to measure
Okay.
it out. Now, do you notice anything about that foil?
Well, I noticed that this side is kind of dull, and the other side is really shiny.
That's right.
Is that? I mean,
Yeah, which side do you think we need to have
what?
facing up?
If I wanted to bounce a bunch of light around, I would think the shiny side. I can see the lights here at City Hall actually are bouncing off of it, so I
You're
would
right.
say the shiny
Not
side
so
would
much
probably
there.
go up.
You're right, absolutely. So that's pretty important.
Okay. So, boys and girls, what Miss Nelson is doing right now is she's lining the bottom of the box with the aluminum foil. That's going to help reflect some of that light, some of that heat. It's going to bounce around inside the oven. Now, what are you doing?
Okay, so now, remember we just talked about black and how black is, I know we're both wearing it today, black is going to help absorb some of
Yes. Yes.
that energy from that sun.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so I have a piece of black construction paper.
Okay.
I can cut it a little more. This is actually a pretty good size
Yeah,
for it.
that
I
worked
don't
out really
want
well.
to cover everything because remember we want that foil in there so that it does reflect
Right.
some of that sunlight. I like to tape it down.
Okay.
Now you don't have to tape it down. You could also probably put a little glue on the bottom.
Okay.
I bet some of our boys and girls have some glue sticks at home.
Yeah, or I sometimes, if I'm at the hardware store, definitely get an adult for this too. They have all kinds of adhesives there, some a little bit more heat tolerant. But I think tape's probably the safest bet.
It is.
And even, I don't think it has to be.
Try
You
this
could probably even use duct tape or masking tape. Probably anything that's at home that's kind of sticky.
Yes.
'Cause it's not going to get hot enough where it's going to make the glue on the tape melt away, but it should just give you enough to stick the paper down to the foil. Okay.
Here we go.
There we
Yes,
go.
finally.
All right.
Okay.
Looks great.
So we do have
So,
that.
That's pretty neat right there. That's the bottom of our box right there. Excellent. Okay.
Yeah.
So now we got the bottom of the box. We still have a big hole in the top for our lid. So what are we going to do next, Miss Nelson?
Okay, so let's go back up to the top, the flap.
Okay.
Okay. So here's our flap, and we want to cover it
Okay.
with foil as well.
Sounds good.
Just like you said earlier, we want to make sure that we have that shiny side.
Right.
Okay. Now it looks like I have a little extra piece down there. I might have to get a little creative and
You know, I was thinking, you're talking about being creative. I was thinking if we had, let's say, gaps in there, and if we wanted to really try different things, we could really have a lot of fun with these, maybe different experiments of different materials. If there's a hole in it, or if there's it's perfectly sealed. I've even seen some people use different things to, like newspaper, to act like a type of seal around the
Yes.
seams in the box.
Yes.
So that could be fun to play around with as we do the redesign process. Okay.
Okay, so we've got that.
That's pretty good.
Okay. If you want to put a little bit of tape on the back to
Okay.
keep that, we could do that as well.
Okay.
So let me put a little this piece of
To
tape
hold that down there.
just to hold it
Yeah.
down.
That's wonderful.
Okay, so we've got that.
Okay. So now we've got the top, we've got the bottom done, we've got the whole cup. Now we still have an opening. We can't
We do.
let the sun's energy bounce back out.
No.
So here comes a very
No.
important part of our process here.
So kind of like the oven at
Mm-hmm.
home, if you're baking cookies and you leave that oven door open,
Right.
that heat's going
All
to
the heat's
escape,
gonna go
right?
away.
Okay, so we don't want that to happen. So I'm going to use, so I had some of these at school. I brought one of them today. This is what we kind of use. And this is just a sheet protector. Okay? So we're going to use this as our window.
Wonderful.
All right, so I'm going to, thank you for getting that tape ready.
Oh, yes. Well, sometimes it wants to stick, sometimes it wants to fight with it, and I just thought maybe we would help each other out. That's what good teachers do. We help
That's
each other,
right.
Okay.
Okay, so if we close it, do you notice anything?
I see there's a small opening there in the bottom where a window would be.
That's right, and we don't want that, right? Because
Right.
we all know what's going to happen.
The heat's going to escape. We want to make sure we trap the heat inside.
I've got another one here that I'm just going to cut because we don't need it all.
Now, you also said earlier, if we don't have sheet protectors, we could use other materials, right? You said something maybe like a plastic bag, perhaps, could work. And did you say, what are those? Saran wrap.
Saran wrap.
The plastic wrap? Okay. So, because I have lots of saran wrap at home, lots of bags at home, but I don't have any of those sheet protectors. So that's good. It's good to have
Yes.
alternatives.
Well, and
Okay.
I didn't have any at the house, so I understand that. So there's a couple different things we could do.
Okay.
Okay, so it looks like we are
That's pretty
almost
awesome.
ready. We're
I
just
love that.
missing something
We're
major.
missing something to eat. We're missing s'mores.
Yes.
That's awesome.
Here comes the fun part. We're going to
Absolutely.
make our s'mores.
Yes.
Okay.
So-
I bet you know how to make s'mores, right?
I've done this a time or two.
Okay, good. Me too.
As my kids at school at Black Fox will tell you, I have kind of a sweet tooth.
Oh,
so
I do too.
I love some sweets, and chocolate is one of those things that I love. All right, so if memory serves, we need 2 graham crackers.
That's right.
One will be on the bottom and one will be on the top eventually. We are going to use some plain old chocolate bars,
Oh,
right?
yes.
Okay. And I like a good balance of marshmallow and chocolate, so I only use 2 pieces of chocolate.
Okay.
Some people might go for a whole 3. I will let you decide. Would you like 2 or 3, ma'am?
Oh, let's see. It may be a 3-day.
Maybe a 3-day. Today, maybe it's Friday.
It is Friday.
It's Friday. It's been a good week. We've been, working hard
Well, it
this
looks
week.
a little more than 3 for me.
Oh, goodness. Now, I'm going to use the larger marshmallows, but does it really matter?
It doesn't. Mr. Penrose, I brought some of mine from the home, and these are the little ones.
Okay.
So I'm going to put the little ones on, and you got the big ones.
Yes.
Now,
yes. And I did cut because you
Good.
said something
I
earlier
did.
Before we were on camera about something about maybe the big ones might melt better if they're kind of cut a little bit.
Yes.
And in fact, we have a solar oven that's working right now under a heat lamp, and I actually did take Miss Nelson's advice and I cut these into smaller pieces, and they're looking pretty good. So we'll get into those later.
okay.
Okay.
Now, Mr. Penrose, this would be great for a dessert,
Okay.
but lunch. If we want to do stuff outside,
Right.
and we want to have lunch outside, I brought something that we can have outside
Awesome.
using our solar energy.
Okay.
Okay?
Which is actually perfect because when I was a youngster, my mom wouldn't let me come back inside. In and out,
exactly.
'cause,
Stay
she wanted air
outside.
conditioning air to come out. So
So, do you like quesadillas?
I love quesadillas. I really do.
I do too. So, we're going to make a cheese quesadilla
Okay.
Okay.
So that's just your regular flour tortilla with some shredded cheese on top.
with some cheese.
Oh, and you just unload the whole
I'm
bag.
just going to put it all on there. Would you
Well,
put
that's
your
my own
graham
part. I love it.
cracker underneath? Because I stopped on the way over here this morning to get something for Mr. Nelson.
Okay.
We got Krispy Kreme.
I've heard that Mr. Nelson's love of Krispy Kreme is legendary.
Yes,
It's
yes, but he has to have them warm.
Well, of course.
Well, guess what? The sign was not on, the
Oh.
little light.
Well,
So I did
bad.
get him one. And since we are making a solar oven
Okay.
and we have some heat, I'm going to put his Krispy Kreme donut in there. And hopefully it'll be nice and warm by the time I leave for him.
That's awesome.
Okay?
Okay. Well, let's,
Okay, so it looks
let's
like we're
cook.
ready.
Yeah. Awesome.
Now, Mr. Penrose, you said something earlier about using some newspaper
Yes.
to even line it, okay? You can definitely use it around, and that would kind of help be an insulator
Okay.
and kind of keeps more of that heat inside that oven. So that's
Okay.
just something else that we can do.
Okay.
Okay.
Sounds good.
Okay, so while those are out in the sun
Yes.
baking,
They're cooking. It's going to take a minute, boys and girls. It's not going to be instant
No.
like being in the oven at home. It could take anywhere from 20, 30, maybe up to an hour, depending on how sunny it is. Like this weekend, it's going to be in the mid 80s, partly sunny. This weekend will be a great time to try this. And should
Absolutely.
get some pretty quick results. So,
absolutely. So typically, when we're doing it at school, we leave them out there for a solid hour.
Okay.
Okay. Okay. So while we are waiting, another thing on my bucket list.
Okay.
I want to play tennis.
Okay.
I want to learn how to play tennis, but we don't have a tennis court anywhere around. So
Right.
I think I might have to get a little creative. So I came
Okay.
up with a way that we can play tennis in our backyard.
Backyard tennis. I
Backyard
like the way it
tennis.
sounds. Have a backyard.
Okay,
It's easy.
so we are going to use some basics. I bet you
Okay.
have some paper plates at home?
I do.
Okay, so we're going to use some paper plates.
Okay.
Now, you could use a ruler.
I have a ruler.
Oh, good. All right.
Ruler.
You could use, I made one earlier with a, do you know what that is?
Paper towel roll.
That's right.
Yeah.
I like to recycle things, so
Absolutely.
you could use that.
Okay.
If you don't have either of those, maybe use a spoon. One of Mom's
Okay.
wooden spoons.
Got
You
plenty
can
of
get it
those
back to
out,
her.
too. Okay.
Okay, so we have our paper plates.
All right.
Flip it over,
All
and
right.
all we're going to do, Mr. Penrose, is we're just going to put some tape back there.
Okay. All right. Got your tape. I'll use this over here. So basically what we're doing is we're using the ruler or the spoon as kind of like the handle.
That's
And
right.
the plate's kind of like the racket, the wire part of the racket, right? Mm-hmm. Okay. So what about, what are we going to hit with it? Because I don't know if we can hit a tennis ball with this.
No, I brought some balloons. Okay, so we are going to use a balloon. Are you
Okay.
ready?
All right. All right.
Okay, here
we go.
goes.
Should be easy, right?
Oh!
Okay. Actually,
Not
it's not
bad.
as easy as it looks. So that's actually not. It's easy to make, but it's actually kind of challenging to do.
It is.
It kind of took my breath away a little
And
bit
if
there.
you don't have anybody to play with, you could just do something like this.
That's
And
pretty
you know
awesome.
me, I'm a math teacher. Maybe even count by fives or your sixes, something, or race back and forth.
That's a great idea.
I know.
That's a great idea. If you had a partner, that'd be a fun challenge because you could challenge each other with this balloon tennis, but also, who knows their facts?
Exactly.
Right? Push each other. That's pretty awesome. That's a great idea.
Yeah, well, thank you.
So that's awesome. Thank you for showing me that. I don't actually have my bucket with me, but one of my favorite things to do is when we get those wonderful summer rains, I love to sit on my porch and just listen to the rain fall. So I'm going to show you a way that on the hottest, sunniest day of the year, how you can actually kind of have your own rainstorm home. Now, I don't mean parents, don't worry, I don't mean a garden hose or anything like that. What I mean is that beautiful sound of rain. So what I've
It's
made
very
here,
relaxing.
What I've made here is a rainmaker, okay? A rainmaker. It's just very simple to make. Most, you probably have the materials you need at home. You're gonna need an empty paper towel roll, some aluminum foil. You can use rice, beans, or lentils, okay? Something small that's easily accessible and it's good to store dry, okay? And what I have here are a couple pieces of paper that are cut into small squares, and that's where we're kind of going to begin.
Okay.
So we're going to take one of our small squares, okay? We're simply going to make some cuts, kind of like we're making one of those paper snowflakes. We're just going to make some cuts around the corners and on each of the sides. And the reason we're going to do this is because our paper towel roll is round, okay, round, and this is square. So we're going to do this so we can kind of bend it. And thank you so much for getting that tape ready. If you would please just kind of tape that for me. Awesome. Perfect.
You need another
I
one?
think it's actually going to do
Okay,
just
good.
fine. for the time being. I think it's okay.
Okay.
So what we're going to do next is we're going to wait for 1 second, leave that right there. Take a couple pieces of aluminum foil, about the 12 to 18 inches, okay? Let's get a little longer there. I'm going to take this. Again, please have an adult help you with cutting anything. I'm going to take this piece of aluminum foil. It's about 18 inches long, okay? I'm going to cut it right down the middle. Miss Nelson, I'm going to need your help on this too, okay?
Sure.
What I would like to do is kind of follow what I'm doing here.
Okay.
Take this piece of foil, kind of crumple it so it makes a long, thin, but you don't have to crumple it too much. A little bit of air is good.
Okay.
And now it looks kind of like a snake, an aluminum foil snake. Then all we're going to do now is we're going to try to coil this.
Okay.
Okay. Kind of spin it around a little bit. And you can use a spoon to do this, or you can kind of do it by hand. Have fun with it. If you have a wooden spoon, you can wrap it around and use that. What we're going to do then with our coils is we're going to kind of slide them right inside there. Okay, if you want to go ahead and put your coil in there.
Okay.
Good. And we're going to take just a little bit. I use about a handful of rice. So I'm just kind of eyeball this here. Just going to pour that rice into the opening. There we go. Oh, there we go. And if you don't mind holding it for 1 second, I'm going to quickly cut
I
this.
can hear it.
Yep. I don't know. As soon as we're done with this, I'm really hungry. I'm about ready to have some of those s'mores.
I think they're ready.
I think folks here at City Hall are too. All right, if you would please just help me tape that. And guys, it's good. Ask for an adult's help on this because it can get kind of messy, and it will get messy. But that's pretty much it. Just a little paper, a little rice. Well, I'm spilling some, but you can kind of hear it here. Ew.
I do.
It might be a little tight there, but it's okay. And that's what's fun about this is these materials are cheap. Usually if they're at home, you can play around with it. Try something different. Try some lentils or some small peas or dried peas, something like that. I think that'd be really, really good to use. Okay, so I think
we're ready.
I think we are too. But I wanted to leave everyone with kind of some ideas.
Oh, yes.
As good scientists, we don't just take the first thing we hear as a truth. Play around with this oven idea. You can use things like this
Yes,
is a
one of our
Macy's box,
classes
right?
at our house the other day was a science class, and I had each one of my students create, my kids,
Right.
create something. Stephen used a Macy's box.
Yeah, that's awesome.
And he didn't have a sheet protector, but he used one of the Ziploc bags, and he used a pen. And then Hannah used Krispy Kreme box.
Awesome.
She too used a big Ziploc bag, and then AJ finished up that Captain Crunch box. Now AJ did get a little creative. He didn't go and find a Ziploc bag, but he put his in his own little bag. All right, so it does keep out those ants and everything
Nice.
else, but gets that sunlight in there. So you can get creative
I've
with
recently
it.
tried baking a little bit, so I usually just a cake pan and some plastic here, a plastic bag. That's pretty easy. And guys, try different things. Try hot dogs. Try doing this on concrete. Try doing this on the asphalt near your house. But just be careful and be mindful of pests.
Okay,
Miss
ready?
Nelson, yeah, I think we should get this.
Oh, I am ready.
Oh, it's gonna be so good. Be right back.
I see that sun over there. Oh, that looks so good.
Nelson, your cheese is nice and melty here.
Oh, look at
Oh my
that.
goodness, look at that. See if we can take this
And
out there.
imagine what it would do if we leave it out for another 30 minutes or an hour.
Oh wow, look at that cheese. It's nice and melty there.
Oh, wow.
That's pretty awesome. I'm actually going to go ahead and dig
Ridiculous.
in because I think we're getting close to the end there. And like I said, it's breakfast time for me. Boys and girls, I hope you had fun today. Please try this. It's super fun.
I'm gonna try a little of this donut.
Make Mr.
Don't
Nelson
know.
jealous. I know.
Don't
All
know.
right. Well,
Ready?
happy summer.
Here's to summer.
Yes, ma'am. Bye, y'all.
Mmm,
Oh,
this is
good.
warm. This is warm.